Welcome to this evening's international news. Let's hear the headlines first. Trump's halt to WHO funding promotes condemnation as coronavirus cases passed 2 million. Lockdowns should be lifted in 2-week stages to stem COVID-19 spread, says WHO. US says China may have conducted low-level nuclear test blasts. Only a COVID-19 vaccine will allow return to normalcy, said UN chief. Trump to ease lockdown, saying virus cases have passed peak. And Kim Jong-un tribute absence sparks speculation. These were the headlines. Let's jump into the details news now. US President Donald Trump's move to halt funding to the World Health Organization over its handling of the coronavirus pandemic promoted condemnation on Wednesday from world leaders as recorded global infections passed the 2 million mark. Trump, who has reacted angrily to accusations his administration's response to the worst epidemic in a country was haphazard and too slow, had become increasingly hostile towards the UN agency before announcing the halt on Tuesday. He said the WHO, which is based in Geneva, had prompted China's disinformation about the virus that likely led to a wider outbreak than otherwise would have occurred. The WHO's special envoy for the outbreak, David Nabarro, said on Wednesday that any recriminations should be left until after the virus has been defeated. If in the process you decide you want to declare that you are going to withdraw funding or make other comments about the WHO, remember this is not just the WHO, this is the whole public health community that is involved right now, he said in a webinar without naming the United States or Trump. Countries that ease restrictions imposed to fight the spread of the coronavirus should wait at least 2 weeks to evaluate the impact of such changes before easing again, the World Health Organization said on Wednesday. In its latest strategy update, the UN agency said that the world stands at a pivotal junction in the pandemic and that speed, scale, and equity must be our guiding principles when deciding what measures are necessary. Every country should implement comprehensive public health measures to maintain a sustainable steady state to low level or no transmission and prepare its surge capacity to react rapidly to control any spread, the WHO said. Some of the countries hardest hit by the virus are now considering lifting lockdowns and beginning the transition toward a resumption of normal life. The WHO update said any such steps should be taken gradually with time to evaluate their impact before new steps are taken. To reduce the risk of new outbreaks, measures should be lifted in a phased, stepwise manner based on an assessment of the epidemiological risks and socio-economic benefits of lifting restrictions on different workplaces, educational institutions, and social activities, the WHO said. US concerns about Beijing's possible breaches of a zero-yield standard for test blasts have been prompted by activities at China's Loop nuclear test site throughout 2019. China may have secretly let off low-level underground nuclear test explosions despite claiming to observe an international pact banning such blasts, the US State Department said in a report on Wednesday that could fuel US-Chinese tensions. The finding, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, may worsen ties already strained by US charges that the global COVID-19 pandemic resulted from Beijing's mishandling of a 2019 outbreak of the coronavirus in the city of Wuhan. US concerns about Beijing's possible breaches of a zero-yield standard for test blast have been prompted by activities as China's lob nuclear test site throughout 2019, the United Department's Red report said. Guterres said his appeal on March 25 for $2 billion in donations for a comprehensive UN humanitarian response to the pandemic had so far raised about 20% of that amount. A COVID-19 vaccine may be the only thing that can bring back normalcy. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Wednesday, hoping for just that before the end of the year. A safe and effective vaccine may be the only tool that can return the world to a sense of normalcy, saving millions of lives and countless trillions of dollars. He added during a video conference with the 50 or so African countries that are members of the United Nations. He called for its accelerated development and accessibility to all, adding, it must have a universal global benefit and allow us to control the pandemic. We need an ambitious effort to ensure that international stakeholders operate through a harmonized, integrated, and leveraged approach to maximize the speed and scale needed for the universal deployment of such a vaccine by the end of 2020, he insisted. Guterres said his appeal on March 25 for $2 billion in donations for a comprehensive UN humanitarian response to the pandemic had so far raised about 20% of the total amount. Trump told reporters his aggressive strategy against the virus was working and that the data suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases. President Donald Trump vowed to unveil plans Thursday to reopen the world's top economy, following cautious moves in Europe claiming the US had passed the peak of the coronavirus crisis despite a record daily death toll. Since emerging in China last year, the pandemic has turned the world upside down, forcing half of humanity indoors and capitulating the global economy towards a second Great Depression. The death toll has topped 133,000 with more than 2 million infected according to an AFP tally, with nearly 2,600 dying in the past 24 hours in the US alone. But a bullish Trump told the reports his aggressive strategy against the virus was working and that the data suggests that nationwide we have passed the peak on new cases. He promised swift guidelines on reopening parts of the country, suggesting less affected states could ease restrictions before May 1. We'll be the comeback kids, all of us, said Trump. Leaders around the world are wrestling with the dilemma of how to return the normal and kickstart their shattered economics without risking a devastating second wave of infections. Kim's absence from any official reports on this year's commemorations led analysts to speculate he wants to distance himself from the cult of personalities surrounding the country's ruling dynasty. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's conspicuous absence from commemorations for his grandfather Kim Il-sung's birth anniversary this week suggested he could be looking to emphasize his own authority over the family's legacy, analysts said. The April 15 birthday of the North's founder in the most important celebration of the nuclear-armed country's annual political calendar known as the Day of the Sun. North Koreans are taught from birth to revere Kim Il-sung and his son and successor Kim Jong-il, father of the current leader, and all adults wear badges depicting on or both of them men.